Hello everyone and welcome to Transport Fever. This is going to be the first series that I'm going to do on YouTube. It's a game that I've played quite a bit and I enjoy playing a lot. It's a simulation strategy game where you get a map and you've got to build up the transport connections, hence the title. So it's very much like Railroad Tycoon or those kind of games that came out you know really around the 90s and things like that, but this is the first one for a long time where I've enjoyed it as much as those old games, so I thought this would be a good place to start. So what I've done is I've loaded into the map, and it comes with randomized maps. You can get seed codes to create certain ones, but what this is a map I found in the Steam store. It's a extra large USA map. It is an experimental size, so you do need to activate that outside of the game, but there's steps on how to do that in the description of the mod. So I picked this one because the random maps I do enjoy, but they, hence the name, are random. So you do get weird little setups and some things don't make a lot of sense, and sometimes I just want to play in a realistic location. So I've picked this one because it's one of the nicer maps I've found. Everything's quite spaced out. There's a lot of industry about, but not too close. And it's just a nice setup. There's a lot of waterway, which you don't get on the random maps. And so we can do boating and things like that on there. And then we've got the Rockies here and the west side of the states with kind of more challenging terrain, which I think is where we'll go later on in the series. For now, we'll start on the East Coast, where it's a lot flatter, where we can kind of grow into the game a little bit, and we can show you the basics to begin with. So I've had a quick scout round, as you've seen, and I think we're going to start here, where Philadelphia and Washington are. I think it's quite a realistic placement if my geography is up to date. Not that they've moved, obviously, but I think we'll start here and we're going to build a little passenger route down. And then now the way this map is built, there's a nice little bit of industry here as well. So it'll be a good place to start to show the passenger setups and then how to do a good setup as well. And then we'll expand a bit further out up to New York and then down to Atlanta down here. So that's kind of like our initial plans. If we turn on down here the contours, this shows how the elevation changes. As you can see, it's very flat on the East Coast here where we're going to be building, so that's good at the start because you want to keep the cost down, and any elevation slows down the trains and trucks. So at the beginning, when you have very slow trains and not very powerful ones, you want to keep it as flat as possible so that you can get the maximum speed. So it's going to be a good place for us to start, and then we can build some cool routes kind of looping round. And I think we'll go like round the mountains, going through mountains. You can tunnel. It gets very expensive though, so I think we'll try build like a realistic routes where I would think they would go in real life, rather than building a crazy route over the Appalachians. I think they are. I may be wrong, but these hills here. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll start going. So if we zoom in a little bit more, this is Washington. This is the residential city roads. They're a little bit bigger. And if we go down and turn on land use, this will bring on some highlighted overlays. So this is very obvious if you played games like SimCity or other strategy games. They keep the same kind of colours. So the green is residential, as you can see down here. Blue is commercial and yellow is industry. So these are the three areas you need to kind of concentrate on in the towns. And if we click on Washington, this will bring up a different UI element, and this splits these out a little bit more. So this top one here is going to be passenger use, then shopping facilities, which is blue, which is tools, food and goods, and then jobs, which is construction materials, machines and fuel. So these different items have to be delivered to the corresponding colour. So when we get food going from up here, we need to deliver it to the blue here. So, but we'll worry about that later. For now, we're just going to start with passengers. So looking at Washington here, everything's quite clumped together over here, which is kind of nice for us, but looking at the location of the land, we probably want to build the station on the left-hand side so we don't have to curve round as much. So what we'll do is we will start here. So we're going to build a little bit of road out here. We kind of want to build a bit of a T-junction for the location of our first station. So we're just going to do that and that, and then we'll get rid of that little end bit. There we go. And then we're going to put our first station down. So we'll turn around. We want it on this way. Now what we'll do is we're going to put a second street connection. As you can see, that's put a road out on both sides, so people can exit both sides of the station. It'll build up some growth in this wooded area to the left hand side, but what we do want to do is probably put 2 platforms on. We won't need them to begin with, but it doesn't cost that much more to start, so we'll do that to kind of get the location saved, as it were. So we're going to place that there. Now when I click on there, that's our station, passenger station, and this highlighted area is the catchment point. So this is where people will automatically travel to the station, don't need an internal bus route to move there. So as you can see, we didn't get any of the passengers residential areas, so we're going to have to build a little bus route in here. So we will do that now. So Washington's like a little X formation at the moment, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of connect some of these roads up to make a loop, so we can just have a looped bus route round, which is going to be nice and ideal for us. So if we bring this out here and bring this here, it's trying to charge us money. So if you try and build over a building that already exists, it costs you money to kind of evict those people, which you don't want to be paying, if at all possible. So we're going to avoid that. Build this round like this. Now that's going to happen here. Ideally we'd want to do this and have that circular route, because then it's nice and easy, but it's going to cost us basically I think 100,000 to remove these 2 buildings. I think if we do this, yes, it's about 20,000 up to there. And yeah, it's 100,000 to remove these buildings, which we could pay for. We have the money really at the beginning, but there's no need. So what we'll do instead is we'll do this. We'll just bring it off down here. I'm also going to just increase that so it matches. Could have left it, but I like it looking like that. So that's our route there, and what we're going to do is we're going to put like a circular bus route which can drive the passengers into the station here. So first thing first is we need one of these stations. These are like the depot terminal stations, which we're going to place here. Now as you put these on the road, you'll see highlighted things appear. That's the catchment area again. So for this one we want it to work with the station, so as I bring it in, you'll see the station lights up slightly. So that means any buses that come to this terminal can use the train station. So I'm going to place that here, and then we can build the routes going round. So if we go down to the road options down here, make sure it's on passengers, and then we're after this bus and tram stop, which is the just default bus stops, which is what we're after. And then basically what we want to do is kind of place these around the town, so in the end all these things are lit up to show that people can catch the bus from that location. So if we start with this one up here somewhere, yeah, we'll do that there, and then the next one, if we do that here I think, and then this last one I'm hoping to get all of this, which it looks like it's going to play nice. It is. So they can go there. And I think for now we'll just have those stops. As you can see down here, I have got a few mods. I haven't got too many modifications, but one I have is this drop-off point, which makes for little goods stops. If I zoom in, you can see these are the passenger stations, and then these make, as you can see, these little barrels. This is where you can drop off goods to smaller locations in the town. And the other one is this large circular one, which is kind of like a end-of-the-road turnaround station. It is quite big, so I don't use it that often, but it can be useful if you have like a bit of road here and you don't want to change the end. It's quite good to put a stop in there, and then the buses can do a lap and kind of exit the route. So, but we'll see those later in the series sometime, I would imagine. For now, we've put those stops in, so now we need to make a route. So if we click on this button down here, that's the line manager, and we're going to make a line. So this is going to be our first line in total, and we're going to give it a name. So we're going to call this, this was Washington, so I'm going to call it was for Washington, and then commute, so we know this is the internal commuter service. If you don't name them, it just lists them as line 1, line 2, line 3, which is fine at the beginning, but once once I get like a quarter of this map done, once we get there, we're going to have 20, 30 lines maybe, and that's when you need the names, because otherwise you spend half your time trying to find the right line. So I find it good to start as you mean to go on and name them, so you can help yourself later. So we're going to start here, and then just build this route round, and then we're going to basically reverse it and go back the other way, like this. So that means the buses will do one lap clockwise, and then they'll all go and do one lap anti-clockwise. You want to do that rather than just having one route, because say somebody is at Kingsway and they want to go to St John's Road. If you only had a clockwise service, it would be great. They just go Kingsway and get off here. But say you only had it going anti-clockwise, they would get on the bus at Kingsway and they would go all the way around the system and then get off here, and they would basically take the seat of somebody else who could be doing that journey. So you want to try do it both ways, clockwise, anti-clockwise as well, or do a different system. Like we could do it point to point, so we could have one route that goes sidings to Kingsway, and then another one that goes up to St John's Road and back, and then down to Stanley Road and back, which would work equally as well probably, but I find at the beginning just doing these circles is easier, and then when the cities grow you can change maybe to like a more of a spoke system, but it's kind of trial and error and see which one works in each city. So that's the beginning of that. So what we need next is a depot, so build a road depot. Now I've started on a US map in 1850, so we only have carriages, we don't have any trams yet, so there's no point building the tram depot because it doesn't do both. And basically just want to place this somewhere relatively close, so we're going to do it here because it's also cheap. We're going to see the cheapest we can get it. We'll do it there, 10,000. It's cheap, and we're just going to buy some carriages. So what we'll do is we'll just start with 4, because we just want to let the route build naturally. So there's no point putting a lot of carriages on there to begin with, because they cost money in maintenance and the upfront cost. So you want to keep those costs down at the start of a route, and then once the route matures a little bit, we'll probably add at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 more onto here. But at the start, when we want to save as much money as we can, we're going to just start with this. So those 4, and we're going to put them on Washington Commute. And then when we unpause the game, they're going to come out and start doing the lap. So now that's all set up. So now we're going to go up to Philadelphia. Now Philadelphia is a little bit nicer set up for us, because this residential here and the lighter colour means it's more high dense and got more people in, so it's going to be a great place for a station. So what we're going to do is probably build off here, and then kind of link these down together. There we go. And what we might do is, I think we'll do the loop for the internal route again here. So I'm going to connect up this bottom bit as well as best we can. So if we bring this out here and go along the edge of this little bit of water here, and hook that up, and then the same on this side. Yeah, I don't want to pay for that, so let's do it ourselves. There we go. So now we can build that route up round there, and it's going to be a nice good route round. So let's get the station. I basically do the same thing as we've done in Washington, so let's turn this round. Now one benefit we'll have here is, as you can see, it's going to, the initial catchment area is going to pick up some of this high residential straight away, which is great because that means the bus route won't be as taxed by people. You know, these people here won't use the bus, they'll just walk to the station, so the bus route won't get used as much at this end, so it should help the bus route be more efficient because it's not getting used as much, so we can concentrate on bringing people from the far side a little bit more. So what we'll do next is put another one of these depots in, and again we just need to make sure it lights up the stations you can see happen. We'll put this quite near the middle, but put it there because then we can get some buildings built here and make it look quite nice. So we'll do that. That's picked up a little bit on this side, so then we're going to do the same again, get these bus stops, and we'll turn this on as well. And then the same, just make sure everywhere gets coverage. So if we go here, and then I think down here, and then for here, we won't put it too near the crossroad because you know, the buses might cause some congestion later in the game, so we'll do it here, just a little bit further out. And that's our little route done, so close all them and that, and then open up the line manager. As you can see, this is the first one we did, the 4 vehicles that are on there, the frequency they go in, so at the moment they're every 5 minutes. This will update in real time as to how much money you've made or lost. This circle here is auto replace, so if we turn this on and select a vehicle, once the lifetime of the vehicle expires, instead of just getting older and older and costing us more and more, it will automatically replace the vehicle with whatever we've chosen. So that's good when you get a lot of lines, but we don't need to worry about it now because before these vehicles expire, get to the end of their life, which is 30 years, we'll have a replacement which is better. So we'll just wait for that to happen. So here's the second line. So this was Philadelphia, so let's call it Phil Commute. This will be our second commuter line, and then the same again. We'll just connect these up. Go back to the main station, and then go around. I think that's worked. It has. It's just caused a little bit of weirdness on this last station. I wonder if I can remove that and then add it back on. No, it doesn't matter. You just see the route. It's taken a different route back than it's actually taken to go. The AI has just figured out it's quicker to cut along, unless I've done something wrong, which I probably have. So do you know what? We'll just start again because it's actually probably that I've just done something wrong. So let's try that. The Grove, down to Main Street, New Road, up, back to New Road, back to Main Street, back to the Grove. Nope, it did the exact same thing again. So, well, we'll just leave it. It will figure itself out if it's wrong. So it just thinks that from the Grove to the depot is faster to go this way rather than coming the other way around on the way out. So it doesn't really matter. If we see it causing any issues, we can just change it later. So we'll leave that as it is, as the computer thinks it knows better. And we just need to put another depot in so we can get some vehicles. So we'll do that. Buy these horse carriages. And same as Washington, we'll put 4 in there because we'll see how it goes. Philadelphia, that's the one. Because yeah, like I said, we'll see how it goes for having 4 carriages. We probably will need to up that quite quickly, but for now we'll just leave it as it is and upgrade the amount of carriages on there once we see there's demand, rather than paying up front. Now, as you can see, we still need to build the rail route down, coming down here. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unpause the game just so these bus routes can start working and, you know, moving people around. Start them going rather than starting everything at one time. So basically we're going to build the route up. So we come down here to our station. Now we did build 2 platforms here, but we only really need to use one at the moment. We're not going to have 2 trains on here, so not for a little while anyway. So we'll just build 1 track for now, and later on we'll double rail it. There's no point paying the money for that now. So what we're going to want to do is going to snake it up here and bring it in here. Now, one thing we'll have to do is this farm here, it costs money to remove these farm tiles, so we don't want to do that. So we're going to kind of follow the road up here. There's enough space here for us to squeeze through, so that's going to be the idea. And you can see these circles, that means it's going to go 75 miles an hour. And it's going to do that the whole route, so that just means there's no excessive curves. So we'll accept that. And yeah, we're going to snake this around a little bit. There we go. So that's 23,000. If we moved over here, 200,000. So I think it's 200,000 per square. So, you know, 400,000, like a million or something. So, you know, we definitely don't want to be doing that. So we'll snake it around there, I think. Oh, no, we don't need to turn it that much. Do it this way, and we'll follow the curve of the road a little bit. There we go. And we'll curve this around a little bit here. Yeah, that's going to be good. And then we'll connect it up. And this is 75 all the way, so that whole route's 75 now. I think it went down to 73 here, just for that final curve, but the first train doesn't even go that fast, so we're not going to have to worry about that at all. So that's the first route there. As you can see, whilst we've been doing that, the AI has built this little bit of road here. You'll see it slowly expanding the internal networks of cities as they grow. They kind of usually keep to like an American grid setup, so you know, you don't need to build all the roads manually like I did for these main roads. The computer will do it itself. It's just sometimes I like to kind of give it a nudge to the kind of way I want it done. So, you know, I say they, you know, try and keep to a grid setup, and then, you know, what's this? You know, that's like Half-Life 3 confirmed down here. So, you know, you don't need to worry about it too much. The one thing I will give us some advice is, say for this station here, we're going to want to expand this route up here to New York. I think Buffalo, yeah, Buffalo up here. So in the end, we're going to run a little track off the back of here. Now, one thing to watch for is this route here. The computer might think, oh, I know what would be fun if I build a road like this. That'll be fun. And then it will block our route here, which if it doesn't have houses on, it's fine. But once the computer starts filling this with buildings and industry, it then costs a lot of money to remove those. So what I do like to do is, because we know we want to build off the back of here, is just build a little bit of track like that. Like this. And then that just prevents the computer from thinking better and you know, claiming that space. It will now build up to those lines, but it will never block the line now. So we'll just check Washington as well. So we'll do the same here. Just because in the end I think it's Atlanta down here. Yeah, Atlanta down here. We're going to go there pretty soon, so we'll just do the same here. Like I say, not a lot, just a little bit, just to claim this land for the railway, basically. Because as you can see, he's already just built it here. If he started building houses here, it'd get very expensive for us to replace that. So we'll just do that a little bit. I find it helps, and that's all that's set up. So now we just need to build a train. So we just need to get the depot here, turn this around, put that on the track. Now this will have to move later on in the game. Once we go to New York or something, we'll have to move this, but they don't cost very much, so I'm happy enough just to stick it there. And like I said, we started in 1850 US, so we've only got this choice, so we're going to have to go with the Baldwin 6-wheel, 25 miles an hour, so the track maximum speed was 75, but as you see, we won't have to worry about that for a long time. So that means the train's there, and then we want passengers, cars on there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start with just 2 carriages. Now, within a year or a couple of years, we will need to put a 3rd one, maybe even a 4th one on here. But as you can see, the running costs here are 45,000 a year. So there's no point running a 3rd and a 4th carriage that are going to be empty for the first couple of years, because that's just money for nothing. You know, if we had 2 more on here, that'd be another 100,000 in costs, which we just don't want to be paying at the beginning of the game. So we'll just do this for now, and then we can update it. We can upgrade it later once we've got that capacity waiting for us. So, oh, we didn't make the line actually, so we best do that. So close some of these menus out. Here we go. So we'll make the line. It's going to go. So it's going to go Philadelphia, Washington, and we'll give it a name. So we'll call it Philadelphia to Washington Express, because 25 miles an hour was probably quite fast in the 1850s. So put that on there, and now that train's just gonna, there we go, it's starting to come out now, and it's just going to start doing the route. It's going to start going up and down here, and when it's reached here, when the next month starts, that's going to trigger these bus routes to start delivering passengers to the station. So the first year or the first 2 years, this won't make us any money because it will, it won't have enough passengers. But now we've got it started and set up, it will trigger everything else to start going. So we'll just ride on here for a little bit. So look at these. We just bought this train and the passenger cars. Look how grimy they are. I'd be asking for a refund from this guy. I mean, that depot saw us coming, because this is second hand at least. I mean, this driver, he's not even looking where he's going. Look at the sky. It's the eclipse today. He must have decided to risk it. But we'll see how it goes. So he's going to carry on driving up and down for us. If I can learn how to control the camera, and we'll ride on board for a little bit, because the first couple of years when you start playing, there's not a lot that you can do once you've set up these basic routes. You just need to get the routes starting to build up and mature and bring passengers in. So I'll try and play it at normal speed as much as I can, but sometimes I will speed it up just to get through the boring parts where we're just waiting for money and routes to start. So we'll just ride along on here through our nice forest. We just went past the farmland, which will be where we'll spend next episode. We're going to start the goods route there. We will use trucks for that, because the train will be too expensive to set up, because we'll need stops at both locations. Actually, we'll show you that now whilst we're waiting for him to chug up and down. So yeah, what we'll do is we're going to, next episode we'll set up the goods route, which will be corn or cattle from here, take them to the food processing plant, and then take the food up to Philadelphia and down to Washington. Now, we could use trains, but it's going to be so expensive, because we need a station at the plant, we need a station at the farm. We would then need stations at Philadelphia and Washington that take goods. Now, you can't deliver goods to passenger stations, so that would be 4 stations plus 2 trains. That's millions of cost, which we don't really have at the moment. We can take loans. We've got another 8 million of loan available. 10 million is the starting loan total, so we could take loans and do it, but it would take so long for it to be profitable that it's just not worth it. So as everything's so close, we'll just build a little truck shuttle. So we'll shuttle some grain or cattle to here, and then we'll have 2 separate routes that then distribute the food to both towns. And what that will do is that will really increase the growth of Philadelphia and Washington, because delivering goods and shopping and industry things, that's what drives a lot of growth in the towns. Like, we could just connect up all these towns by passenger routes and we would do okay, we'd do okay money, but once you start connecting up the goods, you make really good money off delivering the goods, but then that also really drives the growth in cities. So this beginning hub that we're going to have here is going to be very good start for us, because we've got perfect setup of quick short route for passengers, and then this quick short route for goods which doesn't require trains. What we'll do is probably for our second goods route, not to get too far ahead, is we'll probably set up a goods train route for this stone. So we'll take this stone from here to this materials plant here and turn it into construction materials. Yep. And then distribute those by train down to Philadelphia, probably trucks to New York. But I think we'll do that as our first train goods route, but that'll be quite a few episodes away. For now, this first episode, that's the autosave kicking in. This first episode is just setting up the passenger thing, so I hope you can see what we've done here. If you've got any suggestions on how you do it, or how you think I could have done something better, or just any general feedback you've got on what we've done so far, please let me know, because I'm always happy to try out new things, and also just seeing how you guys play. So before we go, I can just see, if we slow down time a little bit, we are starting to get a bit of a build up here. So 13 passengers, only one there, but this guy over here has got 9 and 12, so it's 21 passengers waiting at this final station, probably trying to get here to catch the train. So we've got enough capacity that we can put on an extra few carriages, so we'll just do 2 for now, 2 extra carriages, and we'll keep an eye on that and just see whether we need to put more on there, but we probably won't. 2 will probably be fine. And then if we look up at Philadelphia, like I said, the advantage we've got with Philadelphia is the station picks so much of this residential up that we don't need buses for that, so it's a little bit less demand on the buses here. In fact, I think we'll just leave it with the 4 that we originally did, because there's no excess demand at the moment. So the last thing we'll do is we'll just look at the lines, all red. So we're not making much money, but we're only in the second year, so the lines are only just really starting to bed in and make money. So once we've done this year and probably the next year, the train will probably start making money, and then once that does, these little commuter lines will probably break even. I don't really mind if they lose money, as long as they don't lose a great deal, because their job is really to drive the traffic into the passenger stations and then take them back home at the end of the day. So their job's more of just keeping the whole system running rather than making money. But I'll keep an eye on it in case they start losing a lot of money. But I think that'll do us for our first episode. Like I said, any feedback, let me know. And next time we'll do a little goods route and set that up with some trucks. So thank you very much for joining in, and I'll see you next time.